Echoes of Atlantis. What do I mean by echoes of Atlantis? I mean that there are things about the Atlantean civilization that we can see presented in today's civilization outright. Not only that, but it gives us a line of lineage on how some of these items exited Atlantis after the cataclysm. The first echo we're going to look at is the caste. One of the most important things to understand about Atlantis is that it was a caste system. We're going to talk about the food and the echo of the food. Who had the same food and what was that? And finally, we're going to talk about an echo into the fall of Atlantis. Why ultimately did that government, did that people not emerge as a new and yet surviving people? And the reason is they were fractured and they left that entry point as a society. And some people survived out in the world, and others left the hive and repopulated around the globe. Don't forget to click that like, share, and subscribe button.
Well, I'm going home.
And welcome to Disclosure 30, Echoes of Atlantis. Artificial intelligence is the key to understanding our story today.
Hello, Neil.
Super advanced AI that can bend space-time. That's not my thesis. That's Tom DeLonge's, the guy responsible for the military-grade release of the unidentified aerial phenomenon videos to the New York Times. If you look at the story of Atlantis from a purely artificial intelligence standpoint, you very quickly begin picking up on the clues, such as the use of the word caste. Caste usually means people are grouped together genetically and placed in a hierarchy of control based on that heredity. Just as important, a caste without the E is something used in several trades and results in an impression with highly common characteristics. It's my belief that very early in Timaeus, Socrates tells us that Atlantis itself was a caste society. Quote, "Did we not begin by separating the husbandmen and the artisans from the class of defenders of the state?" Yes, Timaeus. Plato then goes on, "We spoke of those who were intended to be our warriors, and said that they were to be guardians of the city against attacks, from within as well as from without, and to have no other employment. They were to be merciful in judging their subjects, of whom they were by nature friends, but fierce to their enemies when they came across them in battle." Exactly, says Timaeus. So the military class was separate, and on that peculiar note, it has been suggested that the language of the European gypsies, called the Romani language, which is an Indo-Aryan language, has a militant origin.
Evidence from the language itself seems to support this military hypothesis. The core layer of the words in Romani contain a large military vocabulary. For instance, gage, the term for a non-gypsy, literally means civilian, non-military person. Das, another term for an outsider, translates to prisoner of war. Other original words of the root language include terms for sword, spear, and battle cry.
Is it possible that the warrior class of Atlantis was expelled from the survivors' land?
The gypsies are coming, the old people say, to buy little children and take them away. And kiddies, when they come to buy, it won't do any good to cry.
There is a deep despise in Europe of the Romani, and so is it possible that the echo holds the answer to several questions? Computer programming by its nature requires hierarchical authority design. Small functions at the bottom don't tell the big functions of code at the top what to do. Plato is making the argument here that man was manufactured, that he was cast. Here's a small segment from Timaeus on the matter. Quote, "Bone was composed by him in the following manner. Having sifted pure and smooth earth, he kneaded it and wet it with marrow, and after that he put it into fire, and then into water, and once more into fire, and again into water. In this way, by frequent transfers from one to the other, he made it insoluble by either. Out of this, he fashioned as in a lathe a globe made of bone, which he placed around the brain, and in this he left a narrow opening, and around the marrow of the neck and back he formed vertebrae, which he placed under one another like pivots, beginning at the head and expanding through the whole of the trunk. This is a description of artificial intelligence, machine gods, building a man by casting a secret machine. They placed that secret machine on a round cast of 5 islands called Atlantis and established a caste society like you might do in a video game. The echo of the Atlantean Islands can be seen in several places around the world, such as the Forbidden City of China, whose rings separated the classes and protected the king and queen and their court. On a long enough timeline, the caste system normalized into slavery, and the long-term echo of the Atlantean caste system is the racism where the races are considered separate and distinct from one another, as if another species, if you will. Interestingly, another species of humans is here with us. And that's not me. That's a lot of people at To the Stars saying it, with the very first being Lou Elizondo.
But what if for a moment mankind wasn't singular? Maybe just for a moment it's mankind's plural. Are we as a society even prepared to have that conversation?
Don't forget to leave me a comment down below. Peace out.